Alright, welcome back YouTube. It's me, uh, Lucas Dre here, uploading a video onto Red Ink YouTube. I stream on Twitch, but we're here doing some sealed Baldur's Gate. I've done a few already. I feel very comfortable with this format. There's a lot of really interesting things to go about. I'm going to go through, open my packs, review some of the cards that I like, things that are interesting about them, and then we'll build our deck, and then from there we'll start playing and hopefully do really well. So, there's my gems, pay my price, get 6 packs of Alchemy Horizons Baldur's Gate. Interesting, okay. I feel like you get about 2 mythics when you play in sealed, so, which is interesting. Let's see. We'll look at these. We'll look over the rares and the mythic here and just talk about them. Some of these cards I'm unfamiliar with, like this one. Alondo the Seer, a blue, a green, and 2. I'm probably saying that incorrect, but it's a legendary human shaman, 3/5. So decent card as a creature that has an ability. So let's hopefully the ability is a pretty strong ability. So you tap it, draw a card, then exile a card from your hand, and put a number of time counters on it equal to its mana cost. It gains when the last time counter is removed from this card. If it's an exile, they may cast it without paying its mana cost. If it's a creature, this thing gains haste. Then remove a time counter from each other card you own in exile. Oh, okay. So this is reminiscent of Suspend, but how this one works is that when you suspend, it removes all time counters from the suspended cards that you already have out there. So you definitely want to map out your plays, but that could be very strong. Okay, and then we have Belt of Strength, the equipment. Equipped creature has a base power 10, 10. Equipped for 10. This ability costs X less to activate, where X is the power of creature it targets. Interesting. So if you target a big creature, it costs less. Where X is the power of the creature it targets. Yeah, this card sucks. This is kind of a poor design. I understand why they would equip it for 10. There's a lot of ways you can cheat this card onto a creature, but in this format, I would definitely not try to run this, unless there's some consistent way of equipping for a way cheaper cost. Alright, so we got a Planeswalker. This might be good, I don't know. But it's 5 mana, green, red, 3 colorless. When it enters, when Mizik and Boo, Timeless Heroes, enters the battlefield and at the beginning of your upkeep, so not just your ETB, but at the beginning of your upkeep, if you don't control a creature named Boo, create Boo, a legendary 1/1 red hamster with Trample and Haste, which you can see the token here on the side. Well, it's a pretty cute card at this point. You add a counter, it gets 3, put 3+1/+1 counters on up to 1 target creature with Trample and or Haste. They don't have to have both. Boo has both, but there could be other creatures in your deck that have Haste and Trample. So, on its own, it's not terrible. You can, basically, you play your Planeswalker, has 4 loyalty, and you get a 4/4 Trample Haste. On the surface, 5 mana for a 4/4 Trample Haste, that isn't bad. But the other ability, let's see what it is. You have to sacrifice a creature. When you do, Mizik and Boo, Timeless Hero, deals X damage to any target where X is its power. If the sacrificed creature was a hamster, draw X cards. So, essentially, with this card, you could play it, Tim something, draw a card. That's not very good. But if you get to go a full turn cycle with it, and it lives, you can fling it for 4 damage and then draw 4 cards. That can be pretty powerful, especially in the color scheme of green-red. I'm not exactly sure what I would rate this card yet. I might play with it. I'm not sure. I'm really liking white in this format. So I've gotten this guy before, and this is a very good card. Just on the surface, as a 4-drop, you would probably play this in any deck that's blue. Because typically getting back instants and sorceries from your graveyard to your hand is usually a good ability. Here we see the specializing on it, which is a unique effect for those who don't understand. There's a specialized cost for 2 colorless on this particular card, and you have to discard a land or spell that correlates with the alternative mana cost. So in this case, um, for blue, you have to discard an island or a blue card. For the white side here, you have to discard a plains or a white card, so on and so forth for the rest of the cards. But each of these have unique ability. With this one, the first one, when you flip it over here, it becomes a 4/5, and it permanently becomes a 4/5 when you specialize. So even if they remove it when it goes to the graveyard, it will be a 4/5 and not the 2/3 it originated as. That's something useful to remember because we're used to Magic cards that once they leave the battlefield, they revert back to the original card. But in the case of Specialized, they turn into these other cards, which also show you an alternative mana cost. The first one is kind of meh. Whenever you cast, you loot. That's fine. Not that exciting. This one's probably one of the better ones where you make a 1/1 flyer every time you cast an instant or sorcery. Each of your opponent, you train your opponent for 2. This one makes your creatures perpetually gain +1, which can be very powerful. And then the blue-green is interesting because you put 2 counters on something. So if you have like pump spells, which the pump spells in green are so powerful. So yeah, I like this guy in a blue-green shell. So it's possible we get to play blue-green, maybe even splash red. Who knows? But we do have Stick Together to look at. Basically, this is the Wrath of God. However, you kind of have to keep in mind that if your opponent controls any of these creature types, cleric, rogue, warrior, wizard, if they have one of each type, it's not much of a Wrath of God. But if you build your deck around the idea of having this play out for you, it can be pretty good. I think this deck is kind of like, this card is like a 3.0. My opponent played it on me, and I was the only one left with a creature at the end of it. And that creature ended up winning me the game, so Stick Together was not that exciting. I think if we have enough party cards, it could be good, but this format's very weird, so Stick Together, pretty medium card. It can be amazing, but you could also make it to where one-sided. So if I can play a party, I'll definitely play this if it so be it, because white is very good. Speaking of a good white spell, Soon's Intervention, 2 white, 4 colors, instant. Choose one or more, so you can choose all these options if you want, and you pretty much will probably choose all the options. You get to make 2 night tokens that are 2/2s with we see them right there. You get to seek a non-land permanent with a mana cost 3 or less, which can be very powerful. And then you can disenchant and shatter a permanent, 2 separate ones, and you gain 3 life. This is a pretty cool card. It's similar to Command, but to a lot of the commands, but this could be a pretty solid card. Overall, I think our rares and our mythics are decent. Hopefully we can get some of the cool uncommons in those colors. That way we can build a really powerful deck. Now I'm going to turn this sideways so we can all really look at these cards. Already I see one of the more powerful spells. This card is very good. It's actually quite incredibly good. I guarantee you this card will see so much play on Arena just for the first ability. Shutting down a creature that has awesome abilities and just making it into just a derp at instant speed can be very powerful. And if you can pair that up with good creature board state, I think this card is very strong. But this card is very good. We got a gate. The unicorn is okay. This card's interesting. You get to look at your opponent's hand, and they reveal creatures and lands, and then you can choose one of them to come to play tapped. I think that's pretty good. We have 2 of them, so on the interest of being able to use this as a way to stifle my opponent, it'd be very good. It's a 3/1, so it's kind of meh, but it's not bad. Our white is, just by first glance, looks really good. So we got a Flaming Fist Dust Guard. When it enters, you gain a boon. The boons are basically the next time you cast something that qualifies. In this case, it's a creature spell. You perpetually give that creature +1. So most of the time, you'll be turning your things into 4/1s, 3/1s when you're playing white. The Mace of Disruption is pretty so-so. It can be very good if you have creatures that are multiples. And in our case, if we played white, we'll probably play all 3 of these Devoted Paladins. I do think this card's very good, with especially how our curve can be set up. Can be very powerful. But this card's also not bad if you have a lot of, like the card next to it, Soldier of the Watch, which has Double Team. And Double Team is a very good ability, even on what looks like pretty bad creatures. I think there's blue creatures that are the Lizard Folk Librarians. They're 2/4 for 4, and the only ability they have is that they have Double Team. I think they might scry too, as well. Which isn't terrible, but it's usually not that good. But the fact that it has Double Team gives you a second card, so it makes your card count double in size, and a 2/4 against a very aggressive shell, when you have multiples of those, can be very devastating to your opponent if they don't have ways around it. And in this format, removal is very scarce. If you run up against a player who has lots of removal, I would just brush that off, because that's not going to happen that often in Sealed. At least not in this format. Like our deck, if we went with white, we'd be gambling on Stick Together, and we have 2, You Hear Something to Watch, and the Humiliation. But that would be it for our white removal. You're better off trying to go with the Combat Tricks, and Combat Tricks are pretty powerful in other colors. A lot of these are cards that, if I go over them, it's because they're new. There's a lot of cards that aren't. These are reprints. Priest of Ancient Lord, though, is a very good card. Blessed Hippogriff. This card's very strong, mainly because you have Tyr's Blessing on it. Instant speed. The Adventure cards are always pretty strong if they are playable at all, and I think all the Adventure cards I saw were pretty good. I wouldn't say they're extremely playable, but this one happens to be pretty strong. Basically, this will act like a removal spell in the early game, and then you can put it on drop this at flyer, and then when it attacks, any of your 3/1s become 3/1 flyers, which can be pretty strong. Icewind Stalwart. This card is a premium. I'd say if you're playing white, you want to play as many of these as you can. Even if your creatures don't really have ETB effects, which I highly doubt in white. Many of the cards in white have ETB effects. But this card specifically is very good because of all the aura removal spells that you'll find that a lot of people will play. And Icewind Stalwart kind of just ruins that. So, and that being said, because of Icewind Stalwart itself, it's a fine creature. It's an atypical hill giant with an effect that's actually beneficial in a lot of cases. And just being able to attack and then untap one of your other creatures can be very strong. I think this pairs really well with green white, and white blue. I think they're the best color combination for this. There might be some, but it's probably fine in black and red as well. Where red, white, and red, black. But there's not as many warriors as you think there would be. Even if you look at all the white cards, none of these are warriors other than this. So I think that was intentional. Devoted Paladin, another example of a card that's good to use Icewind Stalwart. So if you get multiple cards in your hand that you can cast in the same turn, I think this is one of those cards you kind of want to hold on to if you can. But if you need to put pressure in play, it's still a 3/3. That's not bad. Devoted Paladin is a fine card. Playing all 3 might be a misstep, but I might do it if my deck just wants to push damage. What I've noticed in this set is that the more threats you have, it doesn't matter how many removal spells they have, you'll probably beat them. That's the problem with playing a deck with heavy amounts of removal, is that if you have to constantly play your removal, then you're not playing threats, and then that's usually how that goes. And a card like Devoted Paladin, it's a nice body, it's a 4/4, which also improves the creatures that you do have in play, turning your 3/1s into 4/2 trample or 4/2 with vigilance is pretty good. And I've had a lot of luck with Devoted Paladin and the effects like it, where you can play multiples of the same card like this. It'd be really good. So we have Stick Together. When we get to this card, let's look at our cards so far. We have a Warrior, a Cleric. Yeah, that's it for our white cards that go with the party plan. But this can be a pretty good board wipe, even if you clear up a lot of the board and you know. The difference is that you do know you have Stick Together. Your opponent might pick up on it if they play it enough, but this card can surprise you. Ranger Squadron, a 3/4 flyer for 6. He usually probably doesn't make the cut, but it's not bad if you need a nice top-end card. But this one's good because it has Double Team, which means when this attacks, it probably gets to attack, you get to put another one into play. Or put another one into your hand, which you'll probably cast that turn. So it's pretty good. It's a little slow, but this format's not extremely fast. Yeah. Alright. I'm definitely looking at white. When I saw white, like I said, I think white's really good. Because I think every single one of these cards could make my deck. We already talked about Intervention being very strong. Alright, we look down at this blue. Hypnotic Pattern is not normally a card that you would want to run, but it's actually quite good to just perpetually give a creature -2. One that, like, let's say they have a flyer and they're attacking in the ground. This is where you can really get huge advantage. Where on the ground they're attacking with a big enough creature that could take out multiple of your creatures. And a flyer, typical flyers in this format are maybe 4 power or 3 power. If you can negate their 3 power creature in the air to a 1 toughness, a 1 power every turn, that clock is basically innate based on your power on your board. But if they have a really powerful creature on the ground and they attack with it, Hypnotic Pattern will definitely allow you to trade up essentially with a good stack block while also preventing the creature that you can't deal with in the air. So yeah, it's pretty strong, and you could always target the same creature twice with this. I saw a few people make mistakes with this when I was playing the other day. You can definitely target the same card with this card. It's very crucial because my opponent did lose the game because they didn't do that. Because I don't think they realized they could. Another really powerful card here, Under Simplify. It's a medium Essence Scatter. You wouldn't play it on the normal a chance, but the fact that it's -2 permanently to the creature's power, that can really change a game in your favor in an extreme way, because there's no way to reverse it without having another card to go on top of it, and that's even if it's even worth it at that point. Yeah, Undersimplify, a pretty good card. We've seen this one before. Dream Fracture, reprint, older card. I always like this card. I think it's nice flavor. Countering a spell and allowing your opponent to draw a card isn't that great. But the fact that you get to draw a card on your opponent's turn allows you to just basically cantrip the card they just played, putting you... It basically cycles this card, gives them a new card, but you get to take a good threat out of the way. And then you get to go to your turn and probably put more pressure on the board. So Dream Fracture can be pretty good. Cancel. I really don't like Cancel that much because of it cancels fine, but Dream Fracture is also fine. You don't really want your opponent to draw a card after you counter it, but the fact that you get to draw a card can definitely be really strong on your side, especially when you know you need to draw cards. Kinku Artificer. There's a lot of treasure tokens. It's pretty strong at that point. 1/1 that enters, put 3 counters on a treasure token. That's really strong. And then it can be blinked. If you blink it, slide it out with, like, I don't know, Stalwart. There's a lot of ways to blink. Blue has some ways to do it. You can blink this out and then copy another treasure. It's pretty neat. Alright, this card was kind of underwhelming in my opinion. It's a 2/1 for 3, which is not great on the creature side. It's a looter, But then you put a study counter um, on Edgar itself, so it's a specialized card. So let's just go over it really fast. It's a 4/3 that when this creature specializes, you remove all the study counters from it, and then look at that many cards on top of your library. Put one of those back into your hand, and then the rest of them on the bottom of your library in a random order. Um, that's okay. I mean, this card's okay. I definitely would run it because it does have the upside of becoming a 4/3, and has other abilities. You can turn your study counters into +1/+1 counters. So if we did get to play blue white, this would actually be pretty strong. Um, yeah, it's just one of those cards. I realize right now that I'm going to speed things up so we can get to the deck construction and we can start playing Magic. I promise that. So I'm going to look through our blue overall. I like the water weird. It's really cool. Um, Overall, our blue looks pretty good. We got 2 young dragons, and our white looks pretty good. Let's look over the black really fast. I like Mind Spike. It's a gimped Thoughtseize, but it's definitely better than Duress. Uh, okay, so we got Shambling Gas, the Alchemy version of Spectral Ghoul, which is pretty good. Spectral Ghoul was normally fine to play, but the improved version is better. Nefarious Imp, it's a fine creature, 2/1 for 3. When your creatures die, you or sacrifice treasures, you get to scry one. It's pretty strong. There's Skewer Plague. This is a card I haven't seen. At the beginning of your combat, mill a card. When you do, if there are 4 more creatures in your graveyard, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. It gains Death Touch until end of turn. Oh, that's not bad. Not bad. Let's see. Reprint Beholder. There's 2 Dragon's Fire here and 2 Methods of Enthusiasm. Man, that really makes me want to play red. Oh man, there's a Gut too, and a Cult Elemental, Fireball, Young Dragon. Man, I'm feeling blue red. Both of these cards alone would be great with our Mythic in blue, and Gut's not a bad card. All right, yeah, probably. I'm leaning towards that too. Oof. All right, let's look at our green. You line up your shot. This card's great. If you're in green, and I don't really care what other color you're playing, it's nice to have one of these in your list. It's just a good card. In a pinch, you can cycle it for 1. Not a big deal. Target creature gains Death Touch till end of turn. Draw a card. That's good. Arcane Archery. This is one of the pump spells I thought was amazing. It's both good on defense and on offense. And then you gain a boon off of it that the next time you play a creature, they're going to get a +1/+1 counter, a reach counter, and a trample counter on it. It's really strong. Band Together. Another solid removal spell. Choose your weapon. This card's fine. It can allow you to do some explosive stuff. Like red-green could be good here, because of the because of our Planeswalker. But I don't know. I tried red-green, and it didn't feel that good. Micronid. This is a really strong mana dork. Dragonborn. I feel like this is better than like a black-green shell. Ettercap is a good card. You should definitely run it. Mainly because you can adventure it and gain value. There are dragons in this format in every color. You're bound to play against the flyer. Ettercap's just a good creature. 2/5 reach is usually better than most of the ground pounders. And if you can kill a creature with this adventure effect and then play the Ettercap, more power to you. I'm familiar with this. Dragon Shaman, 4/2. It's blue-red, so that's interesting. Whenever you cast an instant or a dragon spell, this deals damage equal to that spell to any target that isn't a commander. Interesting. That's actually pretty good. Let's see. Navigational Orb. This is a pretty interesting card. You can get lands. It's good filtration. If you need it, it's fine. Alright, we can build our deck now. Like I said, I think I want to play blue-red. So we're going to put those out here. I like blue-red. Grabbing the creatures that I'll play for sure. The fact we have two Draconic Lures is pretty nuts. Yeah, we don't have like the best creatures, but we do have really good removal in red. Plus, just really early interaction. Like, our opponents are not going to be ready for it. Let's see. Gut, Elemental, Fireball, Young Dragon. Valor Stinger is pretty neat. We might not even need to play that many creatures. I don't hate Rim Shield Frost Giant. It could be a good finisher. We have a decent amount of dragons, I think. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, we have 4 dragons. So I think Draconic Lore is probably going to be really good. We got 2 of them. Dream Fracture will probably be fine. I probably want to play Reckless, but we could probably just play another counterspell. Since we're not super aggressive, Hypnotic Pattern doesn't look that great. But I think overall, I think this would be an interesting build. Yeah, I like this a little bit more. Just really good interaction with our opponents. And very decent. We're going to play like a kind of a control deck here. Can lead more into a mid to late game deck. But we have a lot of really cool cards to pull off into the late game. I think a lot of people might go into a 18 land shell here because of the cards we're playing in our top end. And we might do that. I'm just deciding whether that's what I want to do or not. I think Valor Stinger, Giant Beetle, and these other cards. I think Giant Beetle doesn't. I don't think we can really support that card. I think I would rather have probably Prism. It's a nice cantrip, and it can help us hit our mana. And Prism's not bad. I'm deciding whether I want to just wing it and maybe play the Mizzix, because it's interesting. But we could probably even justify playing like some other cards here as well. I don't have any ways to generate treasures, so that's why I'm not running the Artificer. But the Soon's Intervention is pretty powerful. Yeah, but I think overall, I think we're fine with this. I think this is the best deck we can build. I was looking at the Lantern. Maybe we want to play that over the Stinger. Look at the top card of your library. If it's a land, put it on the battlefield. Otherwise, put it on the bottom. Yeah, I think that might be better than the Stinger here. Yeah. We just have a lot of really interesting cards we can play. We're definitely a late game deck, so this is fine. I think this will be pretty good overall. Okay, let's get into it, and we'll play our first match. Oh man, I think it might be a little dark in here. I thought the light was shining through here. Turn it up. Okay, this is pretty good. Actually, this is quite good. We're on the play. We got a young dragon. We'll keep it. Oh, I'm sorry about the air conditioning in the background, but I can't live without it, so... Alright, we're going to go D. We're just going to do the sorcery, and we'll scry one. We're looking for a mountain. Draconic Lore is pretty good. We have a couple plays we could make before we're desperate to use the Mephit spell, so I think I'm going to keep the Lore here and just put it in our hand. we'll probably just peel through our cards. Yeah, the fact that they didn't play anything this turn, they probably have. They can either have a heavy removal hand, and I'd rather just counter their next spell. Yeah, that card can be. That's a pretty powerful card. We'll just counter that. Alright, we got a Prism here. I could play that, but I'm just going to get this out. So let's look at the red one. The red one is going to allow us to deal damage to target creature or planeswalker we don't control. Alright, they just kill it with Breath Weapon. That's fine. Alright, we drew a Young Dragon. What's cool about this, the adventure on this card is a cantrip, which is just make a treasure. But in our case, I think that'll be quite good. We can just jam this giant down their throat, which I think will be pretty powerful. Nice. We don't want them attacking us. And this is just a strong card. It has Ward 3. Like, even if they had the removal spells they need to kill this, it'd cost a lot. Okay, they have this. That's not going to do anything. We'll just take it out here with our Dragon's Fire. Especially now, we can just cast this dragon and kill it. I'm going to use my... I'm going to use this to cast it, because it's sorcery speed. But now our board state's much better. Yeah, see, look, they're using really premium removal to deal with it. Our next spell we play, this Young Dragon, can be really powerful. But this only costs 3 cards right now, so we're just going to draw 3 cards. And I think I still want to just get this dragon out, mainly because making it a 5/2 that can't block is a much more serious threat than our blue dragon. And we're now turned the corner, and I think we're probably going to win this game. Basically, we turned our Young Dragon into a lava axe. Yeah, portable hole, not going to be very good against us. As a matter of fact, it's almost null. Everything but our Prism is a spell. Our Prowler's pretty good. Oh, I'm surprised they didn't attack there. I don't think they realized this was a 5/2. I mean, I got a land I can throw away, so I'll play Earth Cult Elemental. They have to sacrifice. Yeah, they definitely should have attacked last turn with their spawn. We'll take 2. Then in Rome. I don't need to play anything else to this board, so I won't. Since we have the dragon here, our Dragon's Fire turns into 5 damage. Oh, okay, we won. We did it! We won! I really like Baldur's Gate. I liked how they ramped it up. It didn't seem overly powerful in the with the alchemy cards. And it kind of just made the format a little bit more functional than the previous Dungeons & Dragons set. my issues with the previous one is that Black Red was extremely overpowered, and everything else was just too slow to even think about playing other colors. Um, because the thing that made Black Red so powerful is that there were so many easy ways to generate treasures that you can just draft the bombs in the other colors and just play no basics that would help you fix. You just have tons of treasures out, and you can just slam giant bombs with playing a lot of the good permission that Red Black had to offer. This time around, it's a little different. Sealed is definitely a different egg to crack altogether, because you're not guaranteed to get anything too synergistic. In our case, we have a pretty decent hand here. Okay, we have a mountain. I like playing mountain here first, especially after seeing a plains. It might make them cautious. Doesn't look like they are. I'm not worried about the hunter here. So the reason why I give pause is that I can consider running out uh, the blue dragon, but if they play something that has 3 toughness or less, I'd like to kill it. So, or I'll just kill this at the end after combat, because I do have this counterspell that I wouldn't mind having. And then the following turn, I can play on turn 4. We can play this, use the mana for 2, and then draw a card. Yeah, that's not that scary. They should have not played this right away. I'm just gonna kill the hunter now. Decline. I just do damage to that guy. They can make it indestructible. They have the card. Okay, they do. That's fine. Okay, so they didn't play anything because they're playing around counterspell. Or they might not have the ability to play anything. I'm just going to say go. Adventure or... Wow, this seems insane. Yeah, I'll just play this. This card will be very powerful here, because I can adventure for 2, kill their Null Hunter. They might have a removal here. No. Okay. They don't even have Pump Spell? Crazy. Okay, so they did have Band Together. I'm surprised they didn't do that on my turn. That is weird. Yeah, we'll just play this big creature. That'll be really hard for them to deal with. We could have done that last turn, but I don't know. It's weird. Well, this attack makes me feel like they have +3/+3 in their hand, so I'll just take it. There's 1 mana. Yeah, I'll just kill the Griff here. And now I can hold up Counterspell. They could have a second one. Doesn't look like it. Cool. Play that. Yeah, instead of playing my Lantern here, I'm just gonna scry one, get the full card advantage here. Draconic Lord, great. And we'll just play this flyer. It will be a 4/3 flyer. Now they might have an answer to this. So, but I'm going to attack anyways. I don't think they do. And if they do, I'm not sad about it. I just want to make sure I'm doing damage to my opponent now at this point. We're turning the corner. We need to make sure that we're doing a lot of proactive plays. Attacking is the best proactive play we can make. Alright, we have an answer to that in Fireball here. Also, we just drew a great answer for it. Let's see, if we tap 3, and then we can play Gut. We target this creature, and we get to exile this, which is really strong. And they didn't have an answer last time, so we're just going to hit for 8. What's cool here is that Gut, what this does, I didn't get a chance to go over it, but we do now because our opponent's taking their turn, is that when it enters, one of your creatures fights another creature, it gets exiled, and Gut exiled it, so then when you discard it, you're going to gain a copy of that into battlefield when you specialize it, and then it gains an effect. In this case, it would gain the effect of Double Strike and Haste if we just did it for red, which would be kind of nuts, because then we have lethal. Yeah, now we have lethal. This doesn't have fly, or can't block flying, so we drew a mountain, which is cool, so we can just do that. So we're just going to do this play. We'll specialize it here. The blue one would have been fine, but this is fine here. Yeah, it's going to enter the battlefield with Double Strike. And then we attack. We could attack with everything else, but this is lethal. Although we didn't get double team when this attacked, which is kind of interesting. But it's fine. You know, that's what happens. We won. We got there. Alright, let's continue on. Text somebody, let them know that I cannot talk right now. Alright, so this is an example of a hand that's too risky to keep. Because if we don't hit a blue source within the next 2 draws, we'll be in a really bad spot. And since we already have 3 lands, that means that we only have, since we have 17 lands in our deck, that means that we have 14 lands left to draw in our 33 card deck. Which is still pretty good odds, but not great odds. And I think that since our deck is pretty late game oriented, we definitely want to play on to the best of our ability of our deck. This is a much better hand. I'm going to keep this. I'm going to bottom the mountain. Even though this is double red, we do have a lot more early game double blue spells, so we just want to make sure we're doing that. Let's go. Yeah, especially that they're such a hyper aggressive. I'm glad we have this Dragon's Fire to hold them at bay for at least a turn. I'll probably just take it. White-red is pretty scary. They could drop a threat here that I don't want to deal with. I'd rather kill the unicorn. This card can get out of control. Alright, we drew another card that costs a lot of mana. Yep. Well, I shouldn't have bought him that mountain. I'm just it's not very lucky. If they had a mountain, we would just be dead this turn. Fairly certain. We're probably going to still be dead anyways. Yep, I gotta pack it up here. This hand was not good enough. Did not get us there. This is the problem with our deck, being a little too heavy on the high drops. Getting run over by red-white is kind of rough, but you know, to each its own. We got losses to give. You don't sweat it if you lose your first round. You lose any round. Don't be too aggravated over it, especially when you're kind of just behind. Just roll with it. It doesn't hurt that bad once you learn to accept it. I like this hand. It's a little wonky. It's similar to the last hand, but we do have interactive cards. It's all we can really ask for. And we have a pretty good top end here to tempo out. Granted, we do need to draw lands to make that happen. Hopefully we draw a mixture of lands and spells we can cast. Otherwise, we're probably asking for it. Hopefully our opponent isn't playing super aggressive. Yeah. That's not too bad. Drawing all this high-end stuff is making me crazy, but like I said, that's gonna happen. But we do have Undersimplify, which is going to be pretty good for us. I'll take a no play turn. I think because of that, they have a removal spell in their hand, the Edict, I believe. I think that's instant speed, the uncommon one. It might not be, though. If our first play is the Frost Giant, I feel like we're gonna be. They might have the Edict though. That's my one issue. Now we can deal with their Cleric, and probably counter the next creature spell. That's pretty good for us. I really don't want to kill this, but honestly, its effect to reanimate stuff is actually quite good. And right now we can do 4 damage with it, so. Maybe we just take it on the face. I think we'll just take it. No. I'll kill it. If they go indestructible, I'm not going to worry about that. I feel like it's a waste of a card at this point. Yeah. I want to get them to play a creature so we can use our Undersimplify. Okay. I honestly think that they have the instant speed Edict. I mean, if they don't, the Frost Giant will be really tough to deal with. But if they do, we'll be behind. I don't need to be the first to play. They do. The longer the game goes, it's better for us because we have such good plays to play over the top here. But because I put them on the Edict, that makes me have to play a very specific way. And I'm not really shy from what we're doing. At this point, we just can keep just making land drops. Now we can cast this at instant speed, which will definitely help us get way far ahead. Yeah, as long as we're making land drops, we're good. Nice. Play our land. Get our mana rock out here. Now we just pass. We'll set up to get this in play. We could probably just try and jam this now. We don't really need to. We can just pass. I actually think my first play is going to be the Earth Cult Elemental. Because it stifles their land. And if they don't have a land to play here, awesome. Okay. That card doesn't do anything against us, so I'm not worried about it. That's a little annoying. But not the end of the world. I'll just activate it. Because if I have a land on top, decline. I'll draw that. That's a fine card. Decline. So we can play this and then also instant speed kill this with our treasure. And I kind of want to keep it up like that. So if they do have a removal spell, we get to trade this off. But they'll be spending their turn casting a removal spell as opposed to a creature. Right. So we cast our spell, which then kills their guy. The fact that we're getting value here is really strong. They might play a 3-drop. I wouldn't mind that if they did. Because then I can just jam this Earth Cult Elemental, which would be nice to just get it to play. Alright, we can still just do that play. No, we don't want to do that. I don't mind this dying, and it's a 4-drop, so the card that I'm worried about isn't going to be a problem. So, not at least not to our 3/2 flyer that can't block. Wow, that's a premium removal spell they just used. Sure. And this is a problem with playing a majority removal deck, is that against somebody who can get more cards than you, you're just going to fall way behind. But we'll see. They might surprise us. I've been wrong many a times before. Okay, so now they don't have a land. They didn't have a land to play here. So I'm just going to slam this. Which means it will take away from our land drop from them. And one from us, but I'm not going to sweat that at all. And then it helps our undersimplify out a little bit too. I could counter this. And I'm debating whether I want to or not. I think I will. My reasoning here is that if they do have the sacrifice spell, they'll want to do it next turn. And if they don't, and they just play their 5/6, our gut to their elemental will be really strong. Yeah, this is fine. We'll lose a mountain here. Oh, okay. They'll lose a plains, most likely. So they drew a land that turn? Or they've been just holding lands in their hand? Sure. I'm going to leave a land in my hand just in case they play Gorgon. I don't need another land right now. One, two, three, four. Yep. They've played 4 removal spells. Alright. Looks like they're just going to be taking some damage this turn. Blue Dragon is nice here. Okay. So we'll try and get the full value here. If I can get an island, that'll be awesome. But at this point, I'm probably not going to play the Blue Dragon, because I kind of want to counter the Naga if I can. I don't want land, because I'd rather just draw a spell. Yeah, this is much better. We'll just go with this here. Yeah. So that's removal spell number 5. So they're trying to play control deck, but we're getting to play blue. And I feel like we're a little bit better prepared for this matchup than they are. So I'm going to start by drawing. We'll ditch this mountain. I think we'll play the Prism here. So we can turn this into the blue guy, which look at many cards off the top of your library. Put 1 into your hand, the rest on the bottom in a random order. Or we can deal its damage to another like planeswalker or creature. Yeah, that's probably fine. I'm just gonna play a dragon here. Introduce some love to the board. Keeping land in our hand so we can have more cards to just throw away to our Scholar. At this point, we're at the pinnacle of lands we want in play. Thieves' Tools. Interesting. Okay. Nice. That card's really good to draw here. I think we'll just start there. think our opponent might concede. I will play my island here, only because we can, and I'm gonna hit him for 3. Yeah, I think at this point we don't really need to draw much more in the way of cards go. Sure. I think I said something earlier about having too many removal spells, and you keep waylaying people with creatures. They just run out of gas. Like in this case, seems like they're running out of gas. I'm gonna pitch an island. Since we have a 4/5 right now, I'm just going to flip it. Oh, actually, I don't have any damage to do to my opponent. Yeah, I'm just going to play this and return my counterspell to my hand. That might just get my opponent to concede. It's granted we're not winning the game, but at this point, alright, I think we're just going to flip this guy for 2. I'm going to discard my red creature. Actually, I'll just discard this. If I had another 1, 2, 3, so it's 5. Yeah, we're 1 short of being able to hold up counterspell. So we're just going to attack now. And for the rest of the game, we have 2 counterspells with multiple removal spells. I don't see our opponent being able to win this game. As long as we don't make a mistake, we should be fine. I'm going to throw away the enthusiasm here. I feel like they just don't have anything. Yeah. Yeah, I'll counter it. Why not? So they even had another removal spell? I don't think they should have been playing white. I think they should have been playing a more aggressive shell here. Alright, so they can only afford to... They can't block all of our... they can't stop us from killing them this turn, so we kill a guy, our creatures get bigger, and then we kill their other guy, our creatures get bigger, they take 2, and then we just swing for the win here. We have the counterspell to take them out of the game. Yeah, alright. What was good on our opponent? Oof. Well, that game did take a while. I'm just thinking about maybe we want to put like a... Maybe look at our low drops. Yeah, I think our deck is pretty good. I think we're fine. As long as we don't get too horribly flooded on our high casting cost stuff too early, I think we should be fine. And we just got to mulligan aggressively when we have too many high casting cost cards. But overall, I think our deck looks pretty good. I'm having a good time. Hoping you all are too. Oh, yeah. For those who've made it this far in the video, just let me know if you want some improvements, maybe something different. Maybe you enjoyed the video and you want to see more of it. Just comment below. I love comments. I love critiques. I love criticism as well. I'm not really. I definitely. I don't wear my heart on my sleeve, so I don't really get scathed by too many people. But you know, yeah. If I make mistakes, oh man, please call me out on them. All I can ever do is just ask them to improve, to be better. But yeah, I've been playing this game for a long time, and if you have any questions or anything like that, just let me know. And if you feel like it, I Twitch stream. I do it on the daily, Monday through Friday, typically. Or usually Pacific time, afternoon time, through 8. So I'm usually around there. I will have it listed in below my channel, and I also have Discord that I'll have set up on there, and I'll also be shouting out on Twitter. So this is an awesome hand. I'm pretty excited about this hand. Got a lot of cool synergies here. Our deck is pretty solid for a sealed deck, I won't lie. I think it's pretty solid. That's a pretty good card. I'm just going to scry here. I'm not really worried about their next play. Don't want to land just quite yet. We'll definitely use... Yeah, that nice. Okay. Ring Shield. Frost Giant is good. That card's kind of pretty good against us. And we'll just jam this and pass. Okay. I think this card, I will counter it. I think that card's scarier than the Dust Guard at this point. I'd rather do this on their turn if they have the Indestructible card. But I really don't want to take 3 if I can help it. Okay. Alright, we have another removal for that. That card's really good. So if they have a removal spell, I kind of want them to waste it on this. Because this is a very serious problem card for them. You want to play this as early as you can against Magic, because if they have like the Grim spell, they can't cast it yet. Yeah, there's a lot of cards that this is, and this is just a bad card to play against this. I'm going to play my Dragon card. I'm going to play my land. I'm going to pass. Okay. I kill the Drider. Nice. And then I can just attack for 4 now. I got value out of this. They can kill it when creature attacks. So be it. That was their last spell. I should have known that was the last card, but even then, it doesn't matter. Yeah, we got a dragon in play. We're going to draw 3 cards. Yeah, we'll play our land. I'll attack for 3. Now, they could draw a creature that'll be tough for us to deal with here. Don't think I have a bounce spell. So, I really don't have a lot of ways to deal with a really... Oh, I do have a bounce spell. But I really don't have a lot of ways to deal with a really big creature, so I'm just going to hold up on the counter and just take a break from putting pressure on them. Like, the likeliness of them... Okay, so... They get a counterspell out of our hand, and they lose 2 life. Or I just counter this. No, I'll make him lose 2 life. That'll sharpen the block anyways. Okay. Alright, we'll just make a treasure token here. Keep the land in my hand. Attack for 3. So this is a wizard and this is a warrior. They could have the Mythic Wrath. I don't necessarily need to play around this. I can discard this, but this will put them on a 3-turn clock, or 2-turn clock, so we're just going to play to the board. If they have a Wrath, they have a Wrath. They top-decked it pretty well. They would have had Mind Spike and a counterspell anyways. That is not it. This isn't bad. Just not good. So they make this attack. We take it, because we don't want to lose our Scholar here at this point. Gonna draw with our Scholar. Discard our island. Not gonna play this because they can kill our Scholar. I will, however, just attack. And I'll say go. At this point, I just want to keep my cards. They have to draw a removal spell for the board, or at least for the sky. You can return to the battlefield tapped. It perpetually gets +1/+1. Activate only if you control a 1/1. The stipulation on this card is really, really trash. I mean, I think you still play it if you have a good number of 1/1s. I mean, I don't think there's a pub spell they can have here, so I'll just take it. Alright, granted now, I think this is a fine time to, draw a card and discard a card. I will discard this weird. We will specialize here, and I'm gonna discard my Colt Elemental. When this flips, I can kill their Godfrey, or I won't kill their Godfrey. I'll kill their Unicorn. So that takes away a blocker, and if I kill another creature here, this will only enter in tapped. Yeah, it gets bigger when it does, but then we can swing for lethal. So if they have a removal spell, we have the ability to win. Enters tapped. And you die. Alright, we're 4-1. Let's keep it going. Man, I really enjoy Sealed a lot. The reason why I'm doing best of one as opposed to traditional Sealed is just to get quick games in, kind of just show you what to expect. I think most people play best of one Sealed. So I think there are some cards you can play in best of one that are typically something that you would just save for sideboard games. But I think overall, I think the most of the time you're probably fine playing the card that some people will declare inappropriate for a main deck in game one. There's too many powerful enchantments that are really stupidly OP. And if one of my drafts yesterday was broken. I went 7-0. One of my games was 100% decided because of this OP mythic enchantment I got in white. Not to mention that my deck was just so good, but overall, but the mythic enchantment was Sworn to Loyalty. That card is so strong. Like I was playing green white and I was double teaming owlbears every turn. That is just insane. That amount of value is disgusting. No matter how you want to swing it. Okay, so we have a couple plays here we can make. We could just play the lantern. We could play a weird here. I do like playing a weird here. However, their Stellar Micronoid is kind of rough. Because this can get them into an owlbear, and I really don't want to play against an owlbear this early. And we have a couple plays where we could set up to get this into play in a timely fashion. This isn't going to kill us. And we do have an answer to owlbear. Maybe we do. We do have the answer to the owlbear, so yeah, I'm just going to get the weird out. This card is exceptional. It'll let you know if you're drawing lands or not, but the Water Weird is definitely a card that they have to get in front of. That's a little scary that they're playing a third color. We got a counterspell. That's pretty good for us. Meaning more or less that I can kind of play around stuff. This isn't the most threatening thing on the board right now. I was thinking about playing Lantern here, but if they have Counterspell, I really don't want to deal with it. So we'll just pass, and we can have our Counterspell held up for any big threat they want to play here. My job wants me to work more. I don't want to work anymore today. I worked so long today. It was a really stressful day. The beginning of your combat. Alright, I'm going to put a stop during their main phase so they can't get the trigger here. I'm just going to kill this with Dragon's Fire. I don't think there's a blue card they could have here that could ruin me. Okay, Wild Shape. Interesting. Okay, that's pretty good. Alright, we attack. So it's a non-land card, and we want that land, so we'll decline. It's good that we know that we're drawing a land, so that means that we can still hold this up. I don't have to get too over anxious to play this, so we'll just pass. Beholder, you're pretty big. We don't want that. Get out of here. Them playing it like this just means they should play it before combat. That means this guy gets to attack for 4. We drew a land. We knew we were going to draw land. So we're going to play our Mana Rock, and then we're just going to kill this. And then the next creature we play is going to have more power. Cool, we're getting a non-creature spell on top of our deck. Okay, that's pretty gross. I wonder how likely it is they block. I think pretty likely. This card is pretty scary. So we're just going to play our dragon, make it a 5-power creature, and we'll just pass. I can't really attack into that. They might have not blocked, but I'm not going to risk it for 1 damage. Like, getting a counter on top of my... most likely it's a land. And if it is, I'm not too worried here. This card is pretty good, though, especially if they have a dragon to follow up here with. Copy... oh, cool. That's pretty gross. Yeah. That's actually a really neat combo. Now, we can't target this because it has Ward 2. Which is unfortunate. I can, however, play this. Alright, I'm going to attack with my weird. They throw a chump here. I think what I'm going to do is play my Air Cult Elemental and bounce their Micronoid. The other play I can make is just get back a... that way I can double block one of these dragons. I think that's our best play. We just bounce this, make sure they don't have an additional land. Because now we can double block and we lose our Legacy Dragon, most likely. Oh my gosh. I got nothing to beat that. Yeah, they got it. Whew. That was disgusting. So they cloned their clone maker, and then they play a mythic dragon and clone that 3 times. Or twice. Alright. Dust that off. Woof. That's some spice. Some spice there. Delicious. And the recycling. We got a little recycling bucket over here. Pile it up and then divvy it out later. Okay. Paco Man. Oh, this is a pretty good starting hand. I like it. Some decent line of play. And we get to be on the play, which is huge. Whew. Wow, that was amazing. Holy crap, I can't believe that. Those dragons, everything, so good. Nice. Basilisk Collar, very good card. Very, very good card. I'm just going to play the Prophetic Prism. It'll draw us a new card. Plus, we don't exactly have a double blue, and we have 2 double blue counterspells for 3 that are in our deck. We did draw Under Simplify. In this game, since we're on the play, I think we will just throw out our Lantern as opposed to waiting, unless we draw land. We did. Yeah, in this case, I think I'm just going to get this out. I think if they attack here, I might just block. Maybe. I think this card has a lot of potential. Actually, this is really good to get out right now, actually, now that I think about it. Because every turn I put a counter on it, the moment I flip it for a red, it'll kill things. Well, they might just kill it here, who knows. Sure. Okay. That's pretty good. We take 2. We take nothing. Which is awesome. That's kind of crazy that they just didn't do anything here. Sure. Oh, this counters anything. Unless they pay 2. Well, that's interesting. That's even better than an Essence Scatter. Yeah. Might as well. They don't even get mana here. So they can sacrifice this to pay? Okay, they just let it resolve. Cost 2 to equip. I mean, these are free attacks. They should probably attack. I guess in response I'll draw. Let's scry here. They're really cautious about attacking. Don't want that. I think I'd rather have a possible counterspell. Alright, we can play our land here, and then cast our Gale, and get back our Undersimplify, but them knowing we have the counterspell, probably not the right play. I don't mind countering, ditching this. I think we just say go. Here, I want to try to draw for a counterspell. I will ditch the island this time. That will resolve. We have the answer of it with a fireball. So here, I'm just going to kill their hunter. I don't want this getting any bigger or out of control. So we take 3 this turn. Plus 4. So they're putting a lot of pressure on us right now. So we have a couple plays we could make here. We could flip this. Kill their barbarian. And then take 4 to the face. Or we can sit here. What we could do is build up enough to deal with that. Yeah, I think we're going to play our land. We cast this so we can get. No, I think I want to just hold up the fireball here. I'd rather kill their dragon if I can. I probably should have killed it now, but yeah, they're going to pay to equip. Just in case they have something, I'm going to just kill this while I can. Each take 2. They play a land. Okay, now they get a 4/4. That's pretty good. What's cool here is that we can take this and then we can set up for the Scholar. They probably really should attack with our Barbarian. We'll take 2. Air Elemental. Yeah, the Air Elemental's pretty good here. We'll just ditch the land at this point. I'm going to keep the land in my hand. I'm just going to cast this, bounce their guy back to their hand. So we're setting up for it to become a 4 counters on this, and then we can just kill their dragon when they replay it. Yep. They're at a low enough life total here that we're at a low enough life total. I don't want to get too low. I think we're just going to block. Move an island to pitch. Now we have a red card, but this actually just kills their guy. Cost 5 to flip. You know, I think I'm just going to... Their Basilisk Collar is kind of a problem. But this is definitely good. Yeah, I'm just going to kill this. We will play this. And I will get back the... enthusiasm here. And we will pass. Okay. We're going to take the one on the chin. Because I think this is a little bit better. Okay, so... draw on the discard. I don't think I want that. Okay. I think I'm just going to cast the spell here. I'm going to play the weird. And I'm going to attack with this guy. And if they do want to attack here, I'm probably just going to block it. Because our weird is really big right now. Oh, okay. That's disgusting. Well, sure. Basilisk color is pretty strong. Alright. What does this do? Okay, yeah, we just... Man, I don't know what to do. I think we just specialize it here. No. I don't want to pitch my dragon at this point. I'm just going to... I'm going to scry. No. I prefer a mountain here. Island, okay. So I'll play my land, I'll play a flyer, and I'll pass. They have a pump spell. That's pretty gross. Oof. They can't play this next turn. Alright, we're going to use this to draw. I will pitch the dragon. I don't have a 4-power dragon. Oh man, this is crazy. Okay, alright, so we can draw and flip. I can't... I think we want this with this card, because we can do double strike with it. Wow, okay. I'm gonna draw here. Okay. That's a good answer to this card. I will discard the fire, please. Yeah. We will kill this. We get a 1/1. We attack for 3. Play another flyer. I just gotta make sure they need to whiff for a turn. Because now they can just play this big giant creature. They've drawn some wildly impressive cards. Yeah. So I won't be able to get this back. I'm just going to flip it, though, by ditching our land we just drew. I'm going to keep the... I don't think I can really afford not to leave back creatures at this point. Double strike. Doesn't give themselves trample. They can double equip their card. Yeah, we would have died if we didn't leave back a blocker here. We get to trade it though. Oh no, we don't. It's the Death Touch. Okay, Death Touch is pretty brutal. So I'm going to attack here. Cast my guy. Have my flyer fight that guy. On the top deck, they drew a really good creature that's very obnoxious here. Although our creature is pretty good. Okay. It's quite possible they don't draw a land and I want to just hold a counterspell. We flip this. Doesn't do anything for us. Yeah, I think we just play a big creature here. They have to sacrifice a permanent. They'll just throw away a land at this point. And then we say go. I hope they didn't draw something. I mean, they're not drawing nearly as many cards as we have. I mean, okay, they just drew another creature. Cool. So 1, 2. I think we've drawn all of our removal. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to draw a card. I'm going to take it. That doesn't kill us. Okay. So... I think we swing for 10 here. They have to block. Sure. Okay. We don't block in here. We take 2. They definitely could have won the game if they equipped their other creature. We will counter this. And we went on the crackback. Yeah, that... I feel like we just stole a game. They played pretty well there too. All right, I'll take it though. They made a couple of mistakes. That was a really big error. Um, so if the let me explain. They could have equipped their two-handed axe to their 1/1, or actually in this case, yeah, to their 1/1, and then attacked with all three of their creatures. Um, I have to block their 4/3. I'm at 3 life, and then I take 3 damage. So we were pretty dead there on board, but they didn't see the play, and they were just playing because they drew a creature. They thought they could just play to the board. We got really lucky there. A lot of things could have gone in our opponent's favor, and they did. They drew very well for not drawing cards, extra cards. They didn't draw that many lands. So okay, we'll take it though. I will take it. We'll keep going. I think we're at the 6-2 mark, or 5-2. Maybe it's 5-2. That game did last a while. Yeah, we're 5-2. We want to win these. Yeah, this is turning into a pretty long video on the Clinic of Magic, but that's what we do. Oof. I might have to do a little bit of editing just to make sure that I shut the, close the gap a little bit on some of the hours. That's another thing. If you have any helpful tips on what I could do to video edit or make things a little bit shorter, just let me know. I really would like that. I really would. I really enjoy this, actually, making content, actually feeling like when I play, actually doing something. And that makes me happy. Whew. I think our deck is pretty good overall. Knock on wood. This hand is actually, I would say this hand's pretty strong. Granted, we get to be on the play, or on the draw so much, but if our opponent isn't too aggressive, we can start with the blue dragon. Otherwise, we might have to lean into some of this other stuff. So we'll keep. They had to mulligan. That's good news. I thought they had a turn 1 play. I will also follow up with the mountain. That card, I think I'm just going to sorcery move it. Reason why I'm doing this is that it's going to give me a boon of 2. That way I can play Water Weir on 4 as a 5/4, which will be pretty good. Alright, we have another answer to that. Definitely don't want them having multiples of that. I can't really kill it. Or, I can't really block multiples of those. That card is actually quite good. We had one in our pool, but I decided against it because we weren't very aggressive. They could have a Dragon's Fire here, but we just play into the board now. We're doing what our deck does. Play to the board. Now we have a 5/4. They could have an answer to it. The sorcery speed removal, most likely, will be their answer to our 5/4. This card can scale up real fast and get scary. Okay. We will attack. Honestly, they waited till our turn to deal with it. I have a counterspell. I'll probably use it. Now I'll just pass. Yeah, we don't need land, so we will take that action. That's pretty good for us. They might have pump spells or something. Nice. We know that the top card's a non-creature spell, so we don't really want to use the value of this card. Yeah, we just won. Okay. Water Weird. That card is so good. When I first read that card, I was like, what? No. It's a 3/4 for 4. That's already better than a lot of cards for that cost. It's also in blue. But the biggest payoff is that you can kind of dictate the top cards of your deck. And knowing what is coming is huge. Like, if you know a land's coming and you need one, like in the game that we still lost, but it was definitely good that we had that knowledge. The fact that it grows every time you have a non-creature spell, yeah, that tells your opponent that the next card you have is going to be a playable, which is probably not news they want to hear, with a threat that's growing every turn that they're going to have to deal with, and the top card could be even worse for them. This is a really strong hand on the play, and we're in the finals here. Just like that, we went from 5-2 to 6-2, and now we're in the finals. We have 0 losses to give, so we're going to try and play our best. And hopefully we get there. I think we will. Our opponent went turn 1 planes. Yeah, I'll take that card. And one of my favorite plays is not playing my Lantern right away. Their Cleric does not scare me. I don't need to turbo this out right away. We just have a handful of action, so I probably should have enthusiasmed here. I don't care about that. Because they already have their trifecta. So if they're playing a 4th color, I'm not going to lose sleep over it. I have an answer to that, so I'm not worried about it. I'm gonna get my dragon going. Alright, so we're gonna start. Yeah, we'll just kill it. I could tap out and play my weird. I actually think that might be the play. Because this is one of those cards, you can't wildly block it here. Their green removal won't work. White will be fine removal if they use it. Okay, so they play a paladin. So now they can kill it, but I doubt they let me untap. If they have a removal, they should play it. I'm not afraid to attack with this. Okay. I'll take that. That's a 2-for-1 I'm willing to take. That's actually quite good for us. And I'm just going to fire this off and kill their cleric so they can't use the reanimation on it to get back this guy. Sure. I'm not worried about a unicorn. Or a mill spell. I mean, yeah, I'll just kill the unicorn here. Just get it off the board. That was a pretty good draw. We'll just cast our dragon. We have the fireball to deal with their Death Toucher. This card is actually quite good. Like, if they get a big spell, I'm just going to play the drag. Okay, they're just killing my guy. You know, that's fine. Okay, now, I'll just fireball this thing for 4 damage. Drawing a card. Alright, I'm going to counter this. So it's perpetually becoming an 0-3 flyer. They get to keep their creature now, but it doesn't do anything. Let's see, that's a really good card to draw, so we'll do that first. I will play my mountain, I will play my dragon, and I will attack for 3. With my 3/3 hill giant. My 3/3 for 5. So credibly, I feel like we've been both playing pretty loose with our spells. I hope they don't have a life gain card right now. Okay, that was a really good draw too. We'll do that. I'm gonna leave the mountain in my hand. And I'll just attack. I could just play a dragon here, but I think I'd rather just scry. There's a lot of good counterspells I could draw. Don't want any more land. Good lord. Good lord, how many lands is that? Okay, we take 2. Meh. Alright, so that we can put that on the bottom. Okay. So we're just attacking for 6. That is a cleric. They're at 2 life. I think we can afford to play a mountain here. Don't. Yeah, I think we can cast. Yeah, we'll just cast the dragon. Just in case they do have a way to kill us. We'll at least be able to block. And now we present 3 attackers in the air. That we have 2 attackers in the air that can kill them lethally. That's fine. Yep, we won. We got there. Oh, that final game was not as terrible as it could have been. They definitely had some strong plays. I feel like they played a little too loose. They probably should have milled 3. But overall, we did well. We went 7-2. Couldn't ask for more, especially doing a stream. I always like to do very well while I'm doing something like showing off my abilities to play. Let's just take a quick gander of the list that we had. Go over nothing. We really don't need to. We'll just look at it and marvel at it. Oh, yeah, Method's Enthusiasm, very strong card. It definitely prevailed. The game where we were playing, I think we played a little too loose with our draw spell guy. We probably should have just been, trying to set up our hand a little bit better than we did. We probably could have just risked a little bit more aggressive lines of play. Because I feel like we kind of threw away that game. But overall, our deck looked pretty good. It performed really well. When we had a dragon in play, Draconic Lore looked really strong. I mean, 4 mana for 3 cards. That's as best as Magic can really offer in here without there being a massive drawback. And overall, I felt like a lot of our cards just overperformed. I don't really think there would be any changes I'd make, other than maybe we probably should have brought in You Come to a River over, I don't know. I don't think there was anything I could really cut for it. Maybe Prophetic Prism was maybe not as good or necessary. Maybe we bring in Reckless Barbarian and these lower end cards just to have a better start against an aggressive deck. But overall, I really liked what our deck was. And we didn't trap ourselves in with a bunch of mythics and cool cards. We kind of stuck to what had the most interaction. And all of it was really interactive. We also learned that Undersimplify can counter anything. And if it hits a creature, it's just that much better. Alright, thanks for watching, and I'll see you later. And leave a like and subscribe. That would be amazing if you did. Alright, bye!